Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have so much to talk about Rocky Mountain Race Week. There's so much news, everything from 6 people piling into a limo to go down to the drag strip to somebody calling out Cletus to race in their stock car. So let's get started and have a great time today. Going into day 4, we are at Great Bend Raceway Park. We have a lot of things going on at this track. It is a night race. The guys from 1320 Video decided to hop in their trusty old limo and they were rolling 6 deep down the track. That was a really cool sight to see. You can go check that out over on their channel. And also we had a guy that decided that he wanted to call out Cletus to a race. If you haven't seen any of the news on that, it is insane. This guy was racing an electric Porsche, the very first electric Porsche. He would claim that it had 1,400 horsepower, something ridiculous, and he didn't even know how to stage in the staging lanes or in the lights to get pre-staged and staged. He didn't know where the end of the track was. He kept running for like half a mile, went through the end. Luckily, the racetrack is on an old abandoned airport that they made into a racetrack, so he had runoff, but that could have been very bad. And a lot of crazy things happened at this track. We did have a lot of good racing. A lot of guys made great passes, had some issues, but not too terribly many that I have come across from the big named YouTubers that a lot of us know. Had a very touching story at Great Bend. Chad Kruger and Tom McGillen were able to do this. They orchestrated it together. Chad's wife, Daphne, actually passed away a couple years ago, and the last track that she was able to race at was this track, and she had her quickest and fastest pass ever. And they have been doing a lot of things in memory of her. They keep her ashes in that car, and Chad has been running this car at Race Week ever since to just honor her. Now, this year they've been trying to orchestrate this for a while, but they actually put some of her ashes in the chute of Tom's car. Now, Tom has a 7-second pro mod that is street legal. It's in the pro street class, but they put her ashes in the parachute in there, and they ran a pass. Whenever he deployed the parachute, it spread her ashes, and he was in the lane. Chad was in the lane beside him and got to see it, and it was a beautiful sight to see. And also, Tom ran his fastest pass that he's ever run while doing it, and ran over 200 mile an hour for the very first time that he's ever done, and he's been trying that for 7 years. So it was a really touching story. It's amazing to see how the racing community comes together and can support one another through heartache, through loss, and also that it's just cool to be able to see a great story like that. So let's dive into the drive a little bit. As they were going, there's been a lot of really cool checkpoints. They hit a spot that was the geographical center of the continental United States, which is really cool. They went past a sign that said that they were exactly halfway between San Francisco and New York City. That was 1,500 miles either way, which is insane to think just how far it is between the country, but also how far these guys are driving. They actually got to Bent Fort on the next day of travel, and that was over 1,000 miles that the guys had driven on their race cars from the start point to then, and they still had 2 tracks to go after that. With all these miles that they're putting on the cars, it is starting to stress a lot of parts. This is the point in the whole event that starts really testing tried and true what cars are working, what cars won't, and we're gonna start seeing a lot more failures. Moving into that, on the day after Great Bend, drove to Pueblo. This is actually the hometown of one of the guys, Trevor. He's running his Supra. He lives here. He got to go home and spend some time with his daughter, who they celebrated a birthday, so happy birthday. Come into Pueblo, and it is a big day for everybody. We have the Motion Racewotks guys running their Grand Marquis. They put nitrous on it, and they have taken their time from running an 18-second quarter mile down to a 14.2, which is pretty impressive, and they're looking at trying to put some more nitrous if they can get some more fuel at it and get in some better weather. So hope that they can actually have a little bit more fun and see what they can do with it. Apparently their car is for sale. I saw a for sale sign on it, so hey, you might hit them up to try to get that car if you want a 14-second ripper. And in other news, the PFI Speed guys, they are really really scrapping it, trying to get their neon to go through the rest of the week. They have fought issues all week long. Really happy to see that they are pushing through and keeping going. Brent was actually able to help the other guys get the car going. They had a rear main seal fail on them, so they had to drop the transmission and replace that seal. They were able to get that done and get it back out to the track and running, so good job, guys. Keep that going. You guys are doing great. So we're going to move on now into the standings to see where our guys are all listed out and in the classes where we kind of talked about last time, where it's a lot closer races, how everything is going, and see where you guys are. So let's get to that. We're going to kind of go over most of the classes that we did in my last video over days 1 through 3, and we're going to look first at the unlimited class. Now, as you know, that Dennis Taylor was in the lead, and he had a very substantial lead because the first day Royce was not able to make a good pass and had a 16-second pass, which really hurts an average on a 7-second car. Now, Dennis Taylor has been able to keep an average in the 8s, low 8s, and his average is 8.4. So he's doing well. However, Royce, the last 3 tracks in a row, has been able to put down a 7-second pass, as you can see here on the screen. It is amazing to see that car with big blower out the hood and that Mustang. It is amazing, and I really wish them good luck on their last day. Looks like Dennis will be able to hold them off on that average if he can lay down another 8-second pass going into the last day back at Vandermeer. We're going to take a quick mention to Tom McGilton in the Pro Street Classic. He has an average of 7.8 seconds, and he did get to run his fastest pass as a 7.4, so put that in there for the Pro Street. Going to the Limited Street, which we talked about last time, and the leader of this is James from Cletus's channel. He has been able to keep an average very close to that 8.5. The first 3 days it wasn't 8.5 something. Pablo, he was unable to run an 8.5. They were running with some issues. They had an issue with an axle breaking, and now they are unsure if the transmission is okay. So we'll be rooting for them. Hopefully they can figure out what was going on, but luckily they were able to make a pass of an 8.6, an 8.61. So we'll see if they can get through that drive through the mountains and get a good number at Vandermeer. All they have to run to secure a win is an 8.7, and there is no way that they can be beat. Moving on to the Gasser class, there's actually been some pretty massive swings here in what's happened. If you remember right, on the last video on day 2 at Kearney, we had Keith Fox in the lead. However, he actually had to drop out at Great Bend. He broke. So we now have Rob Lipinski, who was actually in 3rd on day 2, is now leading the pack. He was able to knock out 3 very good runs in the past 3 days, and he keeps getting a little bit quicker, it seems. So he has an average of 10.55 with a 3, and right behind him is Jeff Collins with a 10.68 with a 3. So as I was saying, the Gasser class is something that we're going to keep our eye on to see where it comes out. It's crazy because you can have some of these really fast cars, but if you break and you can't make it. So moving on to our next class, which is the stick shift class. Now, as you probably know, our boy Cletus is still in the lead. Leroy is doing wonderful. They've been doing just one pass and done, one and dones, just to keep their lead, not have to put extra stress on the car. They did find that their intercooler was not on. They had the switch on, but the pump wasn't pumping because of a wire. So he might be able to actually keep the car a little bit cooler now that they got that going, and might get some more mile an hour and speed out of it at Vandermeer on the last day. We'll see. They might turn it up and see what they can run. If they can run a 7, that would be awesome. Let's go on to our 10.0 class. As you know, the 10.0 class is very, very tight. If you look from last time on day 2, we had Sean Slauberg in the lead by 1,000th over Andrew Dapatia. Now, going into the final day of racing, it has reversed, and we have Andrew Dapatia ahead by 2,000. So this is still anyone's game. To the 11.0 class, this is where Cooper is at. He has actually moved up a spot and got into 4th place in this class. Also, if we look down farther, we see Trevor. He is just kind of making some passes, just having fun in that Supra. It's cool to see him out and actually just enjoying, even though he didn't get his Civic going. It's very cool to see that he was able to bring that car that he didn't really have a purpose for, and he can use it now. So it's awesome to see them out there. And we also have so many other people out racing this year. It is great to see. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing the content. If you have enjoyed this content, please hit the like button, and if you want to see some more, I also have a lot of builds of my own that are going on and some different content in that way. We have a video coming up soon about me actually going to the drag strip with my bike and setting the fastest time that I've ever set on the bike. So if you want to see that, that'd be awesome. I would appreciate you guys coming in, being part of the family, and I'm going to pray with you guys before we leave. So, Father, I just thank you and praise you for today. I just thank you for everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice. I just pray that they enjoyed today's video and that you can just be with them and bless them, Father. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, guys, have a blessed day, and I'll talk at you next time.